So in my most recent shipment, there was a bunch of single shot 22s, and the deal was I didn't go up and pick everything out individually. I said I wanted X amount of dollars of these in this condition and X amount of dollars of these in this condition, and they sent stuff and I've been more than happy with it. Big shout out to Intersurplus for doing that. Really appreciate it. Love dealing with you guys. Can't say enough good. Also, for us Canadian gun nuts, check out a new site that's just launched called BrassNet. It's a social media platform by gun owners for gun owners. It's got a fully integrated marketplace. You don't have to worry about censorship for posting anything like firearms related. They're adding new features every week, and it's a great place to communicate between just people and businesses and just people that have the interest in the hobby. So check it out. It's free to sign up, no credit card, no major personal information. They're great. Check it out. So, anywhoos, one of the single shots that came in, I've never had one of these before. I can't pronounce the name properly. It's like Weihrauch or something like that, or Weihrauch. Weihrauch. They're known more for air guns, from what I found online. They do still have a small bore repeater line, but they primarily focus on air guns by the looks of it in today's time. But this is a single shot tray fed 22, and when I was looking, okay, it's got like an express type of rear sight, you know, with the dual leaf, or the extra leaf I should say. Bolts all chromed up, you know, it's all nickel or stainless, whatever they used. Stock's pretty plain Jane, nothing to write home about. Then I noticed, the trigger guard's aluminum, or aluminium, and they put a big checkering pad here, which is quite coarse, and a hole. In that hole you can see a screw behind the trigger guard, and that just got me to the point of like, what is going on here? Because insofar as most of these 22 single shots, most of them are Husqvarnas or Anschutz or just a few Geckos. This was and I've never had one of these before. I mean, I've been doing this for over 10 years. So anyway, I just wanted to show you some interesting nuances inside of this. I did also notice the barrel here, it's got a fairly thick portion and then it tapers off, and that reminded me pretty much just like these Vore, or however it's pronounced, again, sorry, I'm not a linguist, with the same thing where they got, this one's a little longer, but a longer, thicker section, and then it tapers down. So maybe, I'm not quite sure if it's just coincidence, or if it was a styling thing, or if they subcontracted out the barrels. Who knows? Anybody who does, comment. So anyhow, I'm just going to show you what this is like inside. I found it quite interesting, and it's very well done, and it's actually fairly intricate for what a single shot 22 needs to be. So I'm thinking that these are a higher grade of 22s, or a fancier grade, or what have you. The stock wouldn't make you think it, but internally it's like, ooh, there's actually a fair bit of fanciness going on. Oops. So that front screw here, being a wood screw, it's got a fully domed head on it, and it's also got a reverse taper going down to this tiny little wood screw here. Threads. That rear screw is just a little machine screw. That goes into a pillar on the back. So, pulling the stock's got nothing fancy going on with it. Pretty plain Jane. And then we look at the action here. Just gonna mount up. So safety's mounted or pinned on to that rear stud, or rear pillar, which goes right into the receiver. This whole trigger assembly, that screw I mentioned that this hole corresponds with, is right here. And what this does is it'll go up onto the receiver, which will force this trigger forward, which means that it takes up any brake. So right now, somebody has this set up as a two-stage. So you gotta that take up and brake. That would just take that second stage and make it a single stage solid brake trigger. And for tension is this screw, hole spring and a little washer on it. So that's on the back, the trigger assembly, which A, keeps it captive, B, puts its spring pressure on without using flat springs, and allows this all to pivot out. This pivoted, you can A, remove the bolt, and this screw here is what holds the tray, which also has the ejector built into it, into the receiver. So pull that screw out, and the tray comes out, which is a nice way to do that. Also on the side here is a wire spring, which keeps the bolt handle biased down the whole time, because there's actually a notch, a little tiny groove cut in the front of the handle, and when it's in the down position, it sits just on the top corner and keeps that bias down. So that first little pressure is cocking it in this instance, but you're also pushing against that little retainer spring, or biasing spring, I should say. Trigger group here, pinned onto this front stud, and this is a piece of 1/8 inch thick steel that is wrapped. And it's not welded, it's not just pinned together, two pieces of sheet metal. It's wrapped around, solid piece of steel. Front block up here is pinned in, 2 pins. The sear, which is this piece here, is 2 pins in a vertical orientation. So that's what's actually dropping it, and because the trigger is a solid block steel, this whole trigger assembly is a solid block that they milled out. That biasing screw here is threaded through, and for the rolling surface, they actually staked a stainless steel pin in the top. Hopefully that's coming through. There's a stainless steel pin right there in the top, and that's just staked in. So fairly straightforward for manufacturing in that regard. And the receiver is 3/8 dovetailed and all that for optics mounting. Yeah, it's got a 7 or 8 groove, bore, bright shiny, all that fun stuff. Hasn't used a lot. And the bolt, fairly straightforward arrangement. You pull this screw out, and the whole guts of the bolt come out. So this rear cocking piece, the spring, striker, all that, and then you can actually take this front section off after you drift this cross pin out. Cross pin right here. Drift that out, and then the front portion comes out. All that's up there really is your dual extractors, which are held in with 2 C-shaped wire springs. So this whole thing is stainless or nickel or what have you, which is nice. So I might fiddle with this just a little bit getting it back, so if you see a hard break, it's just me editing out me fighting with getting this back on. It's not bad, it's just I have carpal tunnel in both my hands. I have been waiting for a while to get that looked at, because this healthcare system sucks ass. And there we go. Okay. It's down. It's all free to actuate. So the front of the bolt being able to pivot a little bit, it just needs to be in the very particular orientation for the bottom lug to slide through the tray. So that little rectangular piece in the bottom of the bolt just needs to line up perfectly, and away we go. I'll do that here in a minute. Anywho's, it just goes in there like that. very easy to use, very smooth action. So, trigger pull. There's your first stage. And I left the safety on. Or hit the safety on. Just shy of 3.5. Three. So it's got a 3-pound trigger on it, which is why it's a very nice trigger. The sights, it's very naturally pointing, at least for somebody of my size and build. Just a little tiny U-notch, but it lines up that bead perfectly. Just a really nice single shot 22. You can almost call it a bit of a sleeper in a way, because it's just nothing fancy on the outside, but inside it's where it really shines, in my opinion. And hopefully that's something somewhat interesting. I found this thing to be a bit interesting compared to what I usually see. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.